Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Tuxedo Ian. We're getting back to our playthrough of Book of Hours. We are still progressing through winter and we are going to try and see if we can get down into the caves beneath the house today. At least maybe one or two rooms, but let's see what we can get done. Alright, so when we left off, let's see, did we have anything? Yes, we had, we're crafting an enduring reflection at the Shrine to St. Janarius. Looks like that's the only timer we had going. So let's see what we have down here. We have Forge or Scale 11. Edge, Knock or Scale 14. Moon or Scale 11. Edge or Sky 12. So I think what we're going to do, we have a Wind in Waiting, and we have a Didymos. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Mr. Kill out, and we're going to get him up to the Sky 12, so we can open up that one area. Mr. Kill can always spend a few hours to help a friend. And we have snow. The world is pale today. The white is west of the world, and winter does not wait forever, Solomon Husher once said. That's 3 sky and 3 winter. So we will hand Mr. Kill this Wind in Waiting, which will get him to 7. And we will harvest some more Blue Crown while we're able to. Because that's good for making tea. And we'll pour out a cup of Blue Crown tea for him. Let's see, we have a set of several books here we can read today, so let's get started on one of those. Or actually, we were going to look at, we had the lessons of the Great Signs and the Great Scars we needed to activate. So we need 4 Knock or Grail memories. So we'll start with that. So do Impertinent Vigilation gets us 1. On Imperfections gets us 2. Salt gets us 3. And Gospel of Zacchaeus gets us 4, so that'll get it up to level 5. What can we do with this snow? Well, the snow we can use to make another, since we're using that Wind in Waiting, we can use the snow to make another one. Alright, and then we'll give him the fife. And then the Blue Crown Tea will get him to 12, so he can open up this room over here. The Shrieking Gull Cloud. The gulls have made this their kingdom, and they have grown intolerant of interlopers. We'll have to pacify or discourage them. So let's see, along with that, so we could hire a fisherman. 6, 7, 8. We'd need 3 more moon. 9. 10, 11. Yeah, we could... we can get there. So we will also hire us a fisherman for the day. In winter, when the storms close the seas, the fishermen will offer their services for $1 a day. Fishermen will offer moon and a little sky, alternatively add a soul card to find any rarer guests who might be seeking employment. So we can open 2 rooms today. Fishermen in this part of the world have a reputation as smugglers, and worse than smugglers. Those days are past mostly, mostly they just catch pilchards now. But they still remember the words spoken in silence to the moon and the sea. So let's see. We also need to do some work here, see if we can find some more fish, because I have a feeling we're going to need it. Alright, so there's our Enduring Reflection. With Keeper level rows, an Enduring Reflection can give rise to visions of wilder possibilities. So let's see, how close can we get to Keeper? So Inks gives us 6. Pearl and Tide gives us 7. 9. 10, 11, 12. And if we were to add this, it's 14. And another fet gets us to 15. So that is not enough. Apparently, this one does not make a Enduring Reflection, does not go to Horizon Sight. Would Inks of Power get us there? No, Inks of Power does something else. So Preliminal Meter, we don't have quite enough. We need 1 more point of rows for that. So we can hold off on that for now, because that Enduring Reflection will stay around. Okay, and then we give him the tea. Now we get him to 12, so we can start working on the Gull Cloud. And then we can start working on getting the Fisherman up to 11, so he can open up this Rustling Stair. And here are our 4 memories. 4 Great Signs and Great Scars. So we need Grail, or Knock, so we can use our Shaft there. And then we need 5 more memories for the next level. So we can do that one. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. And let's see, do either of these up here give us... Actually, yes, we can do the Bewitching... Yeah, we can do a Beguiling Melody, so that gets us 5. So that will get us to level 6 of Great Signs and Great Scars. Alright, so we'll start by giving the Fisherman the Wormwood Dream, which will get him to Moon 8. And we can set Mr. Kill to working here in the Gull Cloud. Okay, so our 2 things of Blue Crown. And we can set them here for now. So then we'll need 3 more moon. So we can get 2 of that with some mackerel. And then what else do we have that we could give him that has moon on it? None of the drinks there have moon. We could give him some water, which would be just enough. Yep, we have a half pitcher here. That'll give us our 3. Because Trist would only give him 1 anyway, so might as well use the water instead. Alright, Great Signs and Great Scars is now levels 5, so we have 6 Grail and 5 Knock. Some glyphs are too potent to reside in any language, but too potent to remain unwritten. And this kind of makes sense because scars are one of the physical manifestations of Knock, because a scar is a boundary between what is and what was. And it's also Grail because, you know, to gain a scar, you have to do something that causes a lot of sensation. Alright, so we'll give him some water. That will get him to 9. Shame we can't just give him this SML. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. We come back with Great Signs and the Shapt, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 memories and the lesson. At last, I'm something of an authority in this. So we can do that again because we need 7. Oh, we need 6 memories this time. 2. 3. 4. 5. And then we need 1 more Grail or Knock memory. So we can do a Secret Threshold, which will give us a Knock memory. We can read that over here at Solomon's desk. And that will get us to level 7. We found some sand. An hourglass, of course, is sand contained by sand. So we'll go on another hunt. 1 last shrill, and the wind is still. Alright, Mr. Kill has finished with his work. We have a gull colony. Through the isle's long years, the gulls, heedless of our affairs, have taken their due from the sea and returned it to the rocks. Careful where you step. The gull colony. Steal eggs from the seabirds or find what the seabirds have stolen. So we could use something with rose, scale, or sky here. So we'll try a fet. And then we need a skill with rose, scale, or sky. We can put Enberry and Lapidary in. The wind is bitter today, and we'll see what we can gather there. Down to the Grushians. And we'll give him some mackerel. I can offer my assistants something to eat. We'll increase their aspects. It's also just friendly. And the new room that is available to us is the Gaping Darkness. Thunder prowls the entrance to this cave. A dying curse or a capricious storm spirit? It must be dealt with carefully. Alright, so there is Great Signs and Great Scars at level 6. So 7 Grail, 6 Knock. And we'll have to experiment with what that can make for us after we get it up to level 7. Alright, so he is now Moon 11, so we can open this wrestling stair. Serpent scales whisper on stone. Serpent eyes glitter in the pale window light. Let's see. For tomorrow, I think we'll try and get into this ravaged cellar, because we know we can get Mr. Kill up to that. So to do that, we're going to need... And actually, since we have this area open now, this is another area where we can make old moments. Or old wounds, rather. Four, 5, and 6 memories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 memories, the lesson, and an Arab to finish it off. When I thought I'd understood, I'd only begun. Improve it to level 7. So let's see now. Day is coming to an end. We might as well start another book since we've used up all of our lessons now. So we have... So that's winter, moon. Ah, we can read intimations. As soon as this finishes, we can use that to read intimations of skin. We can also read... Actually, we want to read Against Vitruvius, because that's going to be more useful for us right off the bat here. So we need 6 sky. Easily enough done. As Oronoscopy fills that, I can master this mystery. Then we have... Do we have Ragged Crossroads? Yes, we do. Have we assigned it already? Yes, we have. So we could use that for something else. We have this one, which gives putrefactions and calcinations. Have we assigned that one yet? No, we have not. So we can level that one. That'll only get us 1, but it'll be something. This one, this one does serpents and venoms, and this one does stone stories. I think stone stories is probably going to be... Yeah, stone stories we can do. So we'll come over here, use our health. And then we need 4 points there. And we can use the hourglass, which is up here. Gets us to 6. And we need... Do we have any memories? We need to make a fear. Okay, so we will do a fear memory. And we'll be able to read that. So that will give us 2 scale. And yes, we could reread one of our Newman that gives us 5 scale, but that would be a little bit overkill. Okay, Great Signs and Great Scars is level 7. 8 Grail and 7 Knock. So let's see, what actually can we make with that? So let's add Grail. So Knock gives us Amethyst Ampule. If I add a memory, I can inhale the jewel colors and gain a more powerful Knock insight. I'm betting that that's what Curious... Yep, so that makes Curious Hunch. Then for Grail, it makes a Witching Tisane. If I soak fabric in the brew, I can twist it into a grailful little cloth doll. So just because we only have 1 piece of fabric that could possibly go there, we'll add... Oh, nope, we cannot craft with fabric at that, but we can craft... Actually, we can kind of get around things here because we can use this as a tool. It is a fabric. Arab, and that gets us a Pale Mommet. Invest Grail power in an almost living doll. The Great Signs and Great Scars with Scholar level Grail plus fabric creates a Pale Mommet. And if we recall, we were told that from one of our books that we read that if we use enough Grail power, a Pale Mommet can be stirred into life. So let's see. We have our loom here. But we cannot use that at the loom. Where else could we use fabric? Or can we use it at a shrine? No. Can we use it at a workbench? Yes, we could use fabric at a workbench. So let's find a workbench that takes Grail, if there is one. Ah, this one takes knock. So that gets us to 12. So if we were to add the Newman that we can make, that would get us to 15. So that's something we could get to 15. It would just be, it would require a Newman. So we'll drop the doll back where we got it for now. We can drop off this sand here in the alchemic laboratory. And we'll put this back here in the map room for now. We do need to reread this paper and get another occult scrap out of it. And we found another driftwood fragment. So, moon and nectar. Which reminds me, so we were told that if we add enough nectar to something, we can make something happen. If we were add nectar to wood, something told us about that. So let's see, we can get to 3. And then what's our other highest nectar skill here? Gonna be drums and dances at 7. Okay, so we need to use an instrument instead of the knife to get to... But... Okay, so we need just... So that would... We need 7... 8... Memory would give us 9. Actually, memory would give us... We could get a memory to 10, because we can use Wrapped in the King to get a 2 that works. So we'll do that, and we'll see what we can get with drums and dances with 10 nectar. The other things we have with getting close, so we have 6 nectar there. So that's not quite enough. Or maybe it is. Let's see. And then the knife. Ah, yes it is. So with spices and savors, and 10 nectar, we can make Pyrus or a Calcanus. So we can make the copper fruit now, as long as we have a piece of wood. Rouse strange fruit, ripe with both forge and nectar aspect, to burst from the wood. Yes, let's do that, because we can use some nectar skill, just in case we need it. And we can always turn it into dessert if we don't. Scraps from the isle's edge, a wind rumor. If the cloud were a canvas, who spread it? If the sky were a sheet, who knotted it? A wind rumor is an auspice found in the sky by those who look too long, interpretable only by the wise. A heart and sky memory evolves birdsong and omen. Those who know see. Those who see know. Alright, so we'll collect that, and we'll notice that this is an omen, but it is not persistent, so we'll have to either use it or lose it. So, what can we do with that? We can craft an Ascendant Harmony. We only need 1 of our... Actually, we should be able to do that with any... skill that will fit in there now. Okay, so that one doesn't do anything. Glazer and Lightsmithing makes a Deer Day lens, and we need to add metal to create a substance with subtler properties. Sacrosolus Invicti makes... We'd need to add wood to make it enchant an instrument. Okay, so that just makes Mazarine Fifes. Sky Stories makes Ascendant Harmony. And sights and sensations. We would need to add light and see dawn essence drip from the air. So that would make Ichor auroral. So we can use Sky Stories and make an Ascendant Harmony here. And our fisherman has finished his work. Let's go see what he's uncovered. Hidden Stair. After Brulow's retirement in 1861, the Curia found itself short of promising candidates, until the arrival of Willem Harries, a former Dutch Lutheran priest and a sometime correspondent of Stanislav Schaller. He had been a missionary in the Dutch East Indies until his faith was lost or transmuted into a devotion to St. Agnes of the Gate, where he was drawn to Hush House. He won his position by presenting the Curia with a key long lost. This was the key to this very stair, but only the naive would assume the key was a tangible object. Which brings to mind a question. Because we've seen Father Stanislav Schaller before, and it is now the 1930s. If Harries was corresponding with Schaller in the 1860s, that means Schaller is at least 60 years old at this point. Possibly even older than that. So one wonders, what exactly is he? Is he still mortal, or has he grown long? Is he perhaps a nectar long, or is he something else? So the new one we opened is the Riddling Stare. Half-seen faces, mouth half-heard riddles. This is none of Van Loren's work. These defenses are much older than the Curia, but the Curia found a way to answer these riddles, and so will we. Okay, so definitely we can get a fisherman on that tomorrow, because we can do the same thing we did and just use a tryst to get him to 12 as well, and that will open up that doorway. So, that will give us a foothold into going farther into the deeps. So we'll refill this and add Edicts Martial and make another Wormwood Dream. There's another occult scrap for us. Knock, Moth, and Rose. So let's see. Can we do anything with this memory intuition? 2 moon and 2 rose. Just so we don't. So let's see. What do we have that falls under moon? Or so let's sort by. So Inks of Containment we know is moon. So let's see what it can do. So 10 moon makes Lethe. We'd need to add a beverage to that. Okay, so we've already done that. And then 15 moon is a ways off, but it makes something we don't know yet. Okay, let's see. Instead of Inks of Containment, let's see what else we have that is Pearl and Tide. So Pearl and Tide moon makes Eigengrau, and then with the liquid makes Asimel. So the next one down, Edicts Inviolable also has moon. So it makes Solomon's Preparation with a flower, and then something unknown with 15 moon. I think it probably makes that Sapphire Wash that we were reading about earlier. We can do Hill and Hollow. Makes a Salt Sign. We don't know what it makes it at 10 yet, because we can't quite get to 10 moon with this. See, Insects and Nectars makes a Midnight Mark or Ugal ink. Magaphine Mysteries makes Eigengrau. Rhyme and Remembrance makes a Midnight Mark. Cyclone Eclipse makes Catwink. Putrefactions and Calcinations makes Catwink if we could get it to 5, which we can't. So we will just go ahead. We can make... trying to remember what salt sign. Salt sign is the is rose and moon aspect. So yeah, we can make that. Or actually, what we'll do instead, we'll go ahead. We'll make some Catwink, just so we have some on hand. I know we already have a bottle over here somewhere, but having another bottle won't hurt. Alright, so there is our scale memory. So we'll grab our book that we were going to read, Site Supplications. And we have scale desk here. The Soul's Labors. So we will add health, gets us 1. Memory Fear gets us to 3. Coil and Chasm gets us to 7. And then the Hourglass gets us to 8. And we can master this mystery. Alright, and there is our Earth sign. So that will give us a 2 nectar and 2 scale if we need it later. And since it's an omen, it doesn't go in. It's persistent. It does not go away. At least until Numa comes around and knocks on our door. Let's fast forward a little bit and speed up time, just so we have our books finished faster. Alright, so we have made some Pyrus Arcanus. With Keeper level Nectar, Pyrus Arcanus is a precursor to the Sacrament Malachite. Okay, so this makes that green potion that gives us 6 nectar that we saw up in the doorway up there. And we've made some Catwink, dark and pungent. So let's see. So if we do that, and Earth Sign, and this. So that gets us to 8. If we then add... So let's see, what's our highest nectar skill is Drums and Dances. Drums and Dances we would do... make something at an instrument. Rites of the Roots. Add... So that gets us to 13, so that makes Ugal ink. And if we mix it with a beverage, we make a darker, stronger liquor, so that would be Lethe. For insects and nectars, we need a beverage. So we're not quite there. We're not quite to the point where we can get to 15 nectar. We would need... With Rites of the Roots, we would need 2 more points somewhere. So 1 more point here, and then 1 more point here. Or something, another ingredient that gives us 2 points. Pickled mushrooms would do so. Yeah, that we can make Sacrament Malachite by using pickled mushrooms and Pyrus Arcanus. This pair can be a basis for a nectar sacrament of the deep woods. But right now we already have a bottle of that up here, so we don't really need to make another one just yet. Alright, so there's our Ascendant Harmony, stacking up the omens here. finished reading Against Vitruvius, a 14th century treatise on esoteric mechanics and parahydraulics by Abbot Ranulph, who best known now as a Mason architect. Ranulph describes how he tested some of these techniques in the construction of the Winter Tower, now called the Long Tower. He admits to unexpected consequences. Ranulph mentions that the Tower of Ely Cathedral collapsed around the time the Winter Tower was completed, although he stops short of suggesting that one is the cause of another. A tower falls, a tower rises, is all he'll commit to. So this gives us a memory pattern, and another lesson of Lockworks and Clockworks. So we can mark that with memory pattern. Move it up to our red shelf. And then we can grab Lockworks and Clockworks, because that is at level 1. And use that and the memory pattern and our shaft to level it up to level 2. Just in time before the day ticked over. Alright, so let's see what we've got here. Alright, so there is our Wormwood Dream. We have some more hail to deal with today, so edge and sky. So we will go and hire another fisherman to work for us today. Get started with that. So we'll use the Wormwood Dream, which will get him to 8 moon. And before we spend anything else, we'll make our plan here. So we're going to give him a tryst, which will get him to 9. We can give him water, which gets him to 10. And then mackerel, which will get him to 12. So we can set these pears on our shelves here, wherever there's some room here. Let's find room for them. We can set them in the servants' hall here. And we'll put our catwink on the table here, just so we have it. And we have another bottle of parabate here, too. So let's see, we can start reading another book while we're waiting. We have the scale book processing. We can do... Intimations of Skin here, which will be Grail 8. So we can come... Actually, we can do this up here. Because we can use Great Signs and Great Scars and our Fatigued and our Western Gird Arab, and that does it all by itself, so I can master this mystery. This is Fiendishly Complex, Weirdly Distorted Illustrations of Congress and Anatomy by the haunted visionary painter Niels Frederick Malsker. Alright, Lockworks and Clockworks is now level 2, The Little Ways of Little Machines. And I think we have a film up here that also teaches us about that. Yes, we do. So we would need to get 10 forged together here. I think we can do that. The Admonitory Automata Project. So we can do metal. And transformations and liberations, and that gets us to 10. The Kindled Flame. I can master this mystery. And this will give us some more lessons on Lockworks and Clockworks. So this should give us 2 more lessons on that. So we will need 5 memories total for that. So we need Lockworks and Clockworks is Sky and Knock. So that one is easy to make stuff for. So we can do Sky 1. We can do knock 1. We can do knock 1 for the second batch. We can do... We're making one of those already. So... we can do knock 2. And then one final. We can do Perugian Diaries for Sky. So that'll give us 5 memories that will upgrade Lockworks and Clockworks to level 4. All right. Have some water, kind gentleman, who's taking time out of his day, and we're spending his whole day just feeding and drinking him before taking him to this mysterious stair and saying, "Hey, do your thing." All right, and we finished reading this book. Asite Supplications, prayers addressed to the Horned Axe by the Sisterhood of the Triple Knot, giving us Memory Impulse and 2 lessons of Stone Stories. If we should pass not, let our enemies pass unto their deserved end. One prayer describes how sufficient moon aspect can be used with Trismegistus with almost any egg to hatch the stone's children, the sky's daughters, the sea's sons. I'm wondering if that just makes another curious imago or larva that we made into the imago. But we will mark that with Memory Impulse. And we can set this into our scale shelf over here. And then we have Stone Stories already, and it is at 1. So we can use that Memory Impulse. And then we need a health, and that will raise Stone Stories to level 2. And our consider verb is going to be busy for about half the day now. So let's see, what can we do with this hail? We might have something to do with it later. Don't have any plans for it at the moment, but... Alright, here, have some mackerel. And so that's now level 2. Three, 4, 5 memories for Lockworks and Clockworks. So 1, 2. And the Shept and a lesson, which is not quite done yet. So we're going to need... We have one more Stone Stories. So Stone Stories is Scale and Nectar. So we can do an Ambrosial. Get another in that. And then we have the Earth Sign we can use. So that'll give us our next level of that. Or actually, what we can do, the Ambrosial will have... Yeah, so that'll work for that. Our movie is halfway done. And we give him a tryst to get him to 12. And then we can unleash him on the stairway over here. 12 moth. So we'll wait for the barber to come around and do that. Or we could use Mrs. Kill and use our Swaddled Thunder to get her up for that. Because that one could be fairly easily done. Alright, what comes? Neither of us knows yet, but we will. Half-seen faces, mouth half-heard riddles. This is none of Van Loren's work. These defenses are much older than the Curia, but the Curia found a way to answer these riddles, and so shall we. Thank you, Mr. Fisherman, for your service. And we finished reading the Intimations of Skin. Malsker illuminates the evolutions of the names of the Grail with unfortunate clarity. It seems that a lovely who consumes an ivory becomes an ivory. A lovely who consumes a thirstly becomes a thirstly. A lovely who consumes a name of another hour might take its place. In the penultimate illustration, a lovely grapples with a fungoid knot that can only be a name of the crowned growth. The lovely's mouth and other portals gape wide, and the growth name is already partially engulfed. But it seems that Malsker couldn't bring himself to illustrate the result, and the final illustration is only a scrawled, bloated obscurity. So we've got a beguiling melody and 2 lessons on desires and dissolutions. How nice. So we will refill that just to get the book back and add the beguiling melody to mark it with that, because that will be another thing on our rare books shelf, because beguiling melody is otherwise hard to come by. Because I think we have 3 things total that give us beguiling melodies now, and we can actually put this up on our phonograph shelf to make room. Because we have the Instruments of the Heart, which makes a cheerful ditty. We have Intimations of Skin, which makes a beguiling melody, and this one, which makes gossip. So we have suddenly a whole lot more options for making memories than we did in just a few days ago. Let's see now. Right, so there is our movie is done. Footage of experimental devices under development in the Cubit under Governor Collar's supervision. The admonitory automata are nasty little things of spring and wire, but they all have merry faces of painted tin. The last item shown is a prototype towards something called a condignator, which, Collar says proudly, will allow a prisoner to elaborate their own punishment. He hastens to add that he hopes that in the coming era, punishment will be an entirely obsolete concept. This has given us 2 lessons on Lockworks and Clockworks, and a memory of foresight. So we'll go ahead and we'll mark this with foresight. Not that I think we'll need to watch it again, but that way we have it marked if we need it. So let's see, what are the other ones? We watched that one. Experiment Beyond Sight. We've watched Colors in the Liver. And we have not watched The Open Head yet because we still do not know Hyksos. So we'll have to wait until we find someone that can teach us Hyksos before we can watch that movie. But given how weird Colors in the Liver and Experiment Beyond Sight were, Open Head must be really strange. Ilse Bischoff's hallucinatory quasi-documentary, notationally about the Greco-Turkish War of the previous decade. Alright, so we have our lessons on Lockworks and Clockworks, so now we will apply those lessons. Savage Hymn and a Cheerful Ditty. And a lesson. And the Shapt. Gets us to level 3. I'm no expert, but I'm no dabbler either. And there's our memory impulse that we'll use for Stone Stories. And then we have 2 desires and dissolutions we can use. So that one is level 1. So we can use Grail or Moon for that. So we'll have to rustle up something else for that one. So let's see, so we'll need 3 memories total for that one. So we can do gossip. We can do satisfaction. And we can do intuition. All right, so we don't have anything else ticking, so we'll speed that up a little bit. All right, Lockworks and Clockworks at level 3. So now we apply the next lesson. 1, 2, 3 memories. Another fruit plucked from knowledge's tree. Improve this skill to level 4. And once we get this at level 4, Lockworks and Clockworks will start becoming one of our most valuable tools for getting into some of the deeper areas. Alright, so we have, the fisherman has finished his work. The Whispering Stair. This was the stair that the priestesses walked, in the time that this was the Abbey of the Black Dove. Their carved faces still guard the walls. Their prayers may still be heard when the airs of the isle are exceptionally still. And all we have here is a candle. But we now have access to a new area, the Abandoned Church. This is a holy place of the Sisterhood of the Triple Knot. The hours they worshipped are not worshipped now, but those hours are not dead, nor even sleeping. I should not enter this place without pouring out a sufficient offering. So I need a liquid that is 4 knock, 4 moth, 4 nectar, or 4 winter. Well, we happen to have some Solomon's preparations we can use for that. So that will be perfect. So we can actually go ahead and start unlocking this. Because Solomon's preparation is 4 winter. Other thing we could have used would be a skin shuck mead, or we could have used the sacraments, one of the sacraments, to get the 4 knock or 4 nectar. So we don't even need to spend a worker for that. Alright, so Lockworks and Clockworks is now level 5. And we can do Desires and Dissolutions, and a Beguiling Melody, and an Arab. And that will get it to level 2. So we have... we'll have some extra memories here. Or we can use... yeah. Alright, so Desires and Dissolutions is now level 2. And we can do Arab, Lesson, Gossip, and Satisfaction. Gets us to level 3. And then once that's done, we can do Earth Sign and Impulse with Stone Stories. Alright, so the Abandoned Church is now open. Our Lady Beneath. Who is Our Lady? The Red Grail, which gives life, which takes life, which is not sated. The Horned Axe, who bears 2 blades, who waits at the threshold, who sunders that which should not be joined. The Ring-Yew, who is succulent, who is renewed, who encompasseth. Or a 4th, who is always signified but never named. A librarian might phrase the question differently. Who was first? We have quite a bit going on in this room here. So first off, over here on the very far left, we have the Altar of the Knot. History is woven. A knot is a testament. So this is a Bosk evolution station, and it can use moth, moon, or heart aspects to do crafting. We can use omens, we can use materials, we can use a mark or a cooperative beast. And then remembrance, we can use woven, material, flower, or a memory. Aspect of the Malachite. Melissa, Queen and Palace. One of the kinder aspects of the Malachite, Melissa, both Queen and Palace, who feeds all comers, whose body is the house in which her children dwell. Melissa was not always a name of the Malachite. She may have even been the name of another hour. She may even have begun among the Carapace Cross before she chose eternity over history. And before her, we find some beeswax, a widow's candle, and a lignum vitae blank, so we can turn this into some more pears if we want to. The hardest of all woods, edge, nectar, and scale. Moving along to the right, we have an altar to the aspect of the axe, Zenodice Half-Faced. One of the more enigmatic aspects of the horned axe, Zenodice Half-Faced, who welcomes or slays strangers at the threshold. Zenodice is sister sometimes to owl and cat, sometimes to bull and butterfly, sometimes to dove and serpent. This hybrid nature suggests a link with the pre-human Carapace Cross, but that's not so surprising in a name of the axe. We have yet another pair of shears of the Sisterhood, a chunk of quartz, ice, rock, winking light, and a moth orchid scented candle. A candle scented with moth orchid. And we have some gervanite, an alloy equivalent in some respects to the clockmaker's ingvar, but instead of a constant weight, it retains the same origin in every history. So it is an item with 4 knock and 2 rows. It is material, and it is also metal. This is what happens when stone gets serious. Moving along. And finally, we have an aspect of the Grail, Lagia, the Queen Unsated. One of the crueler aspects of the Red Grail, Lagia, the Queen Unsated, devouring mother, sister lover of Antaios. One tradition has it that Lagia took animal form so that she could satisfy her craving to devour her own children and go unpunished. Another that the animal form was the punishment for her incest. The Grail has often been tolerant of contradictions. Perhaps her part in the intercalate really was, after all, a long and subtle move to undermine eternity. Or perhaps she's just not to be trusted. We have another mortar and pestle down here, Crush. A chunk of ambergris, never, never, never call it whale vomit. And one of the rarer items in the game, some human hair, of interest to wig makers, cushion stuffers, and crude sorcerers. It is simply straight up moth aspect, which a haircut is very reminiscent of moth. It's remains, but it is also fabric. It is one of the very few pieces of fabric that we can get in the game, and it's very useful in some aspects to make things in a place where fabric would normally not be allowed. We also have another widow's candle over here. So the new room that has opened up is a wing-haunted cave. A drunken whirl of bats drives me back. Perhaps literally drunken. There's a faint but definite brandy smell. So we need Forge or Grail to get into there. Alright, so with that we will continue with learning our new lessons. And we will explore down there a little bit more tomorrow. The Desires and Dissolutions is now level 3. The boundaries between flesh, pearl, and pleasure are equally contingent. So we need Stone Stories, and a lesson, and Impulse, and the Earth Sign, and a Health. I'm no expert, but I'm no dabbler either. And then with that, so let's see what we can do. Let's find something to do with that hail. We can make... Actually, what we're going to do with it is we are going to wait for night to fall. And then we can use the hail and auroral contemplations and a metal to make a winning move. And this will not complete until after the day takes over, so we don't have to worry about losing it. So let's see, can we do anything with the foresight or the intuition? We do have that moon book up here, so we might as well read that. Now that we've used up all of the things we have. So intuition and a tryst is not quite enough. So we'll add in Desires and Dissolutions and the core instead. So that gets us to 5. I can master this mystery. So this will give us lessons on putrefactions and calcinations, but we'll have those for tomorrow. Alright, so Stone Stories is now 4 scale and 3 nectar of the earth of its forms of dwellers, living and dead. And tomorrow begins year 4 of our stay here at Hush House, and maybe the summoning of another Numa, who knows. If not, we'll be starting off on a new year on the right foot with some more money from the trust. Alright, so just as the day ticks over here, before anything else, I will grab out. So today I think we're going to grab Mrs. Kill for her help. You always cheer me up, she says morosely. And we will see if Numa is coming to call or if it's going to go directly into spring. So we have some fog to work with. And we are at springtime. So now that we know that, we can go ahead and call it a night. And we will pick up from here next time. So thank you all for joining me. If you've enjoyed what you've been watching, please leave a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see where this story is going, please subscribe. And I will see you all tomorrow.